No, but speaking of monetary support, I did like this free Zoom Photoshop workshop like a couple days ago on Saturday. So I guess it was like almost a week ago now. And my initial idea was I wanted to do like a Zoom workshop where I just like talked about some of my favorite projects on Photoshop and had people follow along, and maybe people were having issues in Photoshop and they wanted me to show them how to do certain things. But when I promoted it like that, those types of people were not the people that were interested in it. It was like mainly beginners and intermediates, which...
Well, wasn't it the issue was that the reason that sparked all this is that you were constantly getting messages from people?
Yeah, in particular, like a couple specific people were always messaging me about like, yo, I'm having this problem in Photoshop, help me out. Like, can you show me? And I would jump on a Facebook video call with them and show them how to do it. Like do a screen share and show them how to do it. And basically this kept happening, and every time I did it, I was like, you know what, I should do like a formal thing sometime where I like jump on with a few people and maybe like charge $5 or something just for like my time, and like that'd be really fun. And I brought it up to my friend Kristen, and she was like, yeah, I would totally join that. But she was like, yeah, there's been a couple of people doing similar things, but they've been doing it for free because of quarantine. I'm like, yeah, you know, it'd actually probably be fun to just do it for free. And then like when I put out the message about it, I said originally that I was going to limit it to 10 people because I wanted it to be interactive. I wanted people to be able to jump in and say stuff. But the more I realized that it was mainly beginners, I was like, oh, I don't know if people are going to even know what to ask to make the content for this video. So for the Zoom call. So I need to kind of come up with like a curriculum almost of what I'm going to show. So I basically made this document of like all the main things I wanted to show. I did a bunch of research on other Photoshop tutorials for beginners to like see what they showed and all this kind of stuff. And then I put it together, and I had like 40 people that expressed interest, and then about like 20 people showed up, 22 or so. It wasn't any, like some people jumped in and jumped out, so I don't know if at any point there was 22 all in there.
Most lives are like that, where it's like people show up and then dip out. Like,
yeah,
they show up to see what it is, and then they're like, this isn't what I thought it was, and they'll leave.
Yeah, exactly. But it was cool because I put my like Venmo information and like my PayPal information and stuff. So I said, hey, you know, I'm doing this for free, but if you like think you got some value out of it, you know, you can send me a few bucks. And
like a tip, basically.
Yeah, basically a tip. And I put my info in the video, and so far I've gotten $130 from it. So I'm like, that's not bad, you know, like honestly, I wasn't expecting anything. And if I would have had 22 people all tipping, or like, you know, originally my idea was to have 10 people all paying like $5, I would have only made 50. But because I was like, you know what, I'm not going to charge anything, I'm going to do it for free, and I'm going to open it up as much as possible, I actually made more than I thought I even would have.
And that business,
and I wasn't doing it to make money, honestly. Like, I'm not doing this like, oh, this is like a great business model for me to make money. It's more just for me to like hone my skills, because also I'm realizing when I'm teaching this stuff, I need to teach people the best way versus just like the way that I've learned over the years that might be like kind of the shittier way.
Well, it's just like Wheels to Walking. We always say you got to find what works best for you. Mm-hmm. You know, everyone finds their own recipe. And I think what you've done right there, so a lot of you guys know how we like when we're talking about, you know, like business and education and jobs and stuff, we always talk about bringing value to the marketplace and what that means. This is an example of that.
True.
So most of the time when people want to be taught something, they want a service, they want a product, they pay money for it, and then they receive the product. What Andrew did, he goes, listen, I'm going to give away all this information for free, and I'm going to make sure it's so valuable by at the end of it, people that consumed it are going to go, dude, this guy, I can throw this guy $5-10 easy.
Yeah, and I had multiple people throw me $20, and that was the cool thing, is not everyone gave me a tip, and that's fine. And I didn't even go through and be like, oh, this person didn't tip, this person didn't tip. I didn't do that at all.
Because that doesn't matter. That's irrelevant.
I just went and thanked all the people that did. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like, oh, fuck you. Like, a couple of people were like, hey, man, I don't have much, but here's $5. I'm like, dude, like, $5 is more than enough. Like, I didn't expect anything. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think that's kind of in a weird, longer, more complicated way. Like Wheels to Walking is kind of like that too.
Totally.
Like, we've been bringing value to the marketplace for like 18 months, and we're only just now starting
for merch and Patreon. Well, we've had Patreon the whole time. But
only just now really generating revenue, and it's still like not even close to the amount of money that we've spent. But that's the whole point, is because I know eventually in 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, however many years down the road it goes, because we're
gonna have some big deals go down.
We're gonna have huge deals. And I even think about, like, even if I hypothetically, let's imagine, I'm not gonna do this because I'm not this kind of person. Let's say I did a speaking engagement tour where I toured around the US and did public speaking engagements. Not gonna do that. I have no desire to do that. But the only way I could do that is if I had credibility from the YouTube channel. And then what would happen is I would get paid for every time I speak. So let's hypothetically imagine I, make, a couple $1,000 from just going around at, each time I speak. That's how it can turn out to where it's like I added so much value that eventually people wanted to pay me money to come share that information with them live in person.
Totally. It's like Gary Vee's jab, 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 right hook. You got to give a lot of free stuff. Like Gary Vee's whole mentality is I want to guilt you. I want to give you so much free shit that I'm literally guilting you into buying whatever I'm selling. Like I don't even care what it is.
I've been doing that a lot lately. And not only you start to find value and sort of make like a format for yourself, but you're right, you do guilt people into being like, oh dude, like you're giving me so much.
Exactly.
You just got to look at it like long term.
Well, I think of it this way. So the way that I fell into the Sean Cannell's Video Ranking Academy program was that I was on his
YouTube channel,
his YouTube channel, the Think Media channel, and I was just literally every question I had, he answered in a video. And at the end of the video, he'd be like, if you want to dive in more, or if you want to expand more, we've got a 1 hour webinar, or like, we've got, a link down below, yada, yada. And I kept just craving more information. I was like, I want more information. I want more information. And then I finally ended up like in one of his 1 hour things. And at the end of it, I was like, oh, I would be stupid
not to buy
this. So eventually what I did is I paid for like something called Inner Circle, which was like a $50 a month basically like program where he would constantly, and his team and everybody else in the network would constantly be keeping up to date with all the new YouTube stuff, because as we know, YouTube changes like fucking weekly these days. And then when I was inside there, I was like, I still want more. What's more? And then I found out he had this thing called Video Ranking Academy, and it was a bit more expensive, but basically I saw what was inside of that video or inside of the course, and I knew that it was worth 10, 20, 30, 50 times the amount of money that I was going to spend on it. So I said, of course I'm going to spend money on this. And like,
totally.
So I spent money on it, and I learned from this guy who's been doing YouTube forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. And like, that's the reason why today, when you're on YouTube and you type in the word wheelchair, like 8 of our videos are on the front page, like there's
VRA.
Yeah. There's because of ranking, which is basically like search engine optimization. But anyway, like that's a huge part of our success. And I think that's super cool, because it started with him just like throwing so much free value in my face.
It's kind of silly. It's kind of silly when people think like right up front, like you're going to be able to charge for something when you don't even have like credibility or anything like that. It's like even some of my friends were saying like, so I, back to the Photoshop thing, I recorded the call and I actually uploaded it to YouTube on my YouTube channel. So if you search for my YouTube channel, you can go watch it.
What's your YouTube channel?
It's just Andrew Deitch. If you search my name.
It's not the podcast channel?
The podcast channel is my channel. I never differentiated them. Like growing up, I had a YouTube channel, and then eventually I like abandoned that. And then I started a new channel that was just Andrew Deitch. They're both just Andrew Deitch. But basically, when I was like traveling and stuff, I would like do like random little videos, and I did a couple of vlogs. And then when I started the podcast, I wasn't putting them on YouTube at all. So it wasn't a podcast YouTube channel at all. It was just like personal. And then when I switched over to Libsyn, there was an option to basically retroactively upload all of my audio uploads as YouTube videos,
so you just linked
with
them.
A static image. So those all got uploaded to my YouTube channel. And at the time, I wasn't really thinking like, should I differentiate? Because at the time also, I didn't have that big of an audience. And I was like, I might as well just keep them all one place. I've got like a couple hundred subscribers or something. I might as well just like get people into this.
Yeah,
But-
and it really didn't matter. Like,
Yeah.
that's why we separate. For those of you that are curious why the Wheels to Walking podcast, the Wheels to Walking podcast clips, and the Wheels to Walking channel are all 3 different channels, is because in YouTube world, you can actually get punished for putting something on your channel that isn't what your channel is about.
Like when people subscribe, they're expecting Wheels to Walking videos, not necessarily podcasts. So it's like then when we start putting podcasts there, people might be like, this again. And then they unsubscribe because they're like, I don't even want to get these notifications about the podcast. And that was where I kind of was like, should I start a new channel that's like Andrew Deitch Photoshop? And I'm like, nah, because I don't think this is going to be something I'm going to really do long term. I don't really have that. I don't see this going the distance of like, Andrew's now a Photoshop tutorial guy. I don't see that at all. This is more just for fun. But like basically I was like thinking, where should I put this? And my friend told me, he's like, dude, you could sell that video as like a $29 course or something. And I'm like, yeah, but where do I host it? How am I driving traffic to this? Like, that's not my main focus right now at all.
Yeah,
so I'm just going to give free value and
yeah.
still link my Venmo and stuff. And if people down the road watch the video and end up sending me random money every once in a while, I'm totally cool with that. And the reason why I actually did upload it to YouTube was because I'm going to be doing more of these Zoom Photoshop tutorials because I think they're fun for me. And so basically, if you want to jump on the next one, you can DM me or whatever. But basically, you probably should go back and watch the first one so you can get caught up, and then like I'll be expanding on all the stuff that I covered in the first one, so I'm not constantly going back and covering the basics again and again and again.
Yeah,
you can just go back and watch these videos, which I think is going to be super helpful.
Yeah, and I think
so if anyone's listening to
it's-
this and wants to join, just shoot me a DM
it's
or
something
whatever.
that, like, if you wanted to in the future, like, it has the potential to get you Photoshop clients. Like, there's this guy on
for
Twitter
sure.
named like James or something like that, and it's like he's like a comedian Photoshopper where it's like, hey James, in the background of this picture, can you edit out the guy who's watering the plants? And then he'll edit out the guy watering plants, but he'll also kill all the plants in the photos.
Yeah.
And then it's like, that took so much work, but that lands him clients, because anyone who knows anything about Photoshop knows that he had to build that image from the ground up using assets that he didn't have. It's crazy.
Yeah, there's a subreddit called like Photoshop requests, and it's always just full of trolls because people are like, hey, can someone make me skinnier? And they'll make you skinnier, but then they'll make your face like disgustingly fat, or like all kinds of funny stuff. I see threads of all those things all the time. And then there's also a subreddit called Photoshop Battles, where there'll be challenges and everyone in the comments tries to win. And the way you win is by getting upvoted. So like, okay, the challenge of today is to make a, whatever. And people will all like compete against each other. Hope you enjoyed that clip. If you want to watch the full episode, you can click right here. If you want to subscribe to the channel, you can click right here. If you want to watch more clips, we got 2 more right over here.